Okay, last video from me this week, and one other thing you need to be able to do is to construct equations from geometric situations, and then use what you know about quadratics to be able to solve and explain these geometric situations. Now, that's just a posh way of saying you need to be able to do quadratics when dealing with shapes. So what they'll do is they'll give you things like shapes with the sides or important elements of the shape labeled with algebraic terms, and then they'll ask you questions about it. So this is an actual past paper question, and the first part of this question is to write down the area of the rectangle, and it wants you to do that as an algebraic expression. So the important thing to remember is the area of a rectangle is going to be the length times the width. So in this case, the length, we can call it this one here, is x plus 8, and the width is 2x plus 1. Okay? And that's it. Job done. You've done it. Okay? It wants you to express the area of this rectangle, and it wants you to do it using algebraic terms. We've done that. That's job done. The second part of this question tells you that the area of the rectangle and the area of the triangle are equal. Okay? So that's what it's told us. It's told us those two areas are equal. And what it wants you to do is to set up an equation. Set that up as an equation. So we're going to do that now. We've already done the area of the rectangle. Okay, so we already know what 1/2 of the rectangle looks like, and we need to think about what the area of a triangle is. The area of a triangle is equal to half the base times the height. Now this is the base of the triangle, so what is half of 2x plus 5 in brackets? Well, imagine dividing this by 2. If this is 2 lots of x plus 5, then half would just be x plus 5. That's the base. And what's the height? The height is 3x. Okay? Now, for this particular question, what it wants you to do is set this as an equation equal to 0. So what it wants is you to manipulate this now so that you've got an equation where it's something equals 0. And it says this in the question. It tells you exactly what it's looking to see. So let's do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by expanding the double brackets. So x times 2x would be 2x squared. X times 1 is x. 8 times 2x is 16x. And 8 times 1 will just be 8. So I've expanded those double brackets. I can expand this single bracket. What's 3x times x? 3x squared. And what's 3x times 5? 15x. So again, we set up the equation using what we knew about the area of these two shapes. So that's the geometry part. And then we expanded the brackets, and this is the sort of algebra part. And we can continue to simplify. So we've got x squareds on both sides. We just want all the expression to be on one side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2x squared from both sides. And that's going to leave me with x. Well, in fact, I'm going to simplify this as well. X plus 16x would actually just be 17x. 3x squared take 2x squared would just be x squared. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 17x from both sides, and I also want to take 8 from both sides. Okay? So what that's going to leave me with is 0 is equal to, so this side's just 0 now, x squared has not been changed, 15x takes 17x is minus 2x, and then minus 8. Okay, so that's part 2 of the question. Part 3 of the question asks us, what is the length and width of the rectangle? So basically, what are these things here? Now, it wants the actual value, so what we need to do is we need to actually find out what x is equal to. But luckily, we've got a way of doing that. If we know that 0 equals x squared minus 2x minus 8, we can factorize that to find the value of x. So because this is a negative, we know we need one positive and one negative. And so we're just going to have a little think about how we can times to make negative 8 and add to make a negative 2. Okay, so the ways to make 8 are 1 and 8. Okay, but 1 take away 8 is not going to work. 8 take away 1 is not going to work. We can do 2 and 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 take away 4 would be minus 2. So this looks like what we want to do. We want positive 2 and negative 4. So what that implies is that x equals minus 2 or x equals 4. Right, okay, so now what we need to do is actually work out the, we need to find out the actual lengths of the rectangle. So we're going to use the information that we've got here. So we're going to end up with two different sets of answers here. If x is minus 2, then 2x plus 1 would be 2 times minus 2 plus 1. And this is where we're going to have a problem. 2 times minus 2 is minus 4, plus 1 is minus 3. But we can't say that the length of this is minus 3 centimeters because it's a shape, it exists. It doesn't have a negative length. So we're going to say no to this side of the thing. So sorry, that's a cross I've drawn there. Okay, x equals minus 2 is just not going to work. It's not going to cut it. So we're going to have to use x equals 4. And again, we've got two answers here, but only one of them makes sense in our context. And our context is we're talking about the size of a rectangle. So a minus 2 does not make sense in this situation, which is why we're going to use x equals 4. So when we do 2x plus 1, we're going to have 2 times 4 plus 1 is going to be 9. Okay, and for the other length here is x plus 8, apologies. So that's going to be 4 plus 8 is equal to 12 centimeters, and those are our answers. Okay, so we have now worked out what the length and what the width of the rectangle are. We could work out other things. We could work out the height of the triangle. We could work out the base, but that's not what the question's asked. It's just asked for these two here. And that is how we solve those kind of questions.